Welcome back, my fellow indoor enthusiasts. Welcome back to The Existential Nerd's Guide to Everything, the show where we stare into the abyss, and the abyss stares back and asks if we brought a jacket. I'm your host, Maple. I am currently wrapped in 3 blankets, my thermostat is set to tropical, and I still feel a phantom chill in my bones. Why? Because today we are diving into the ultimate outside is terrible story, the Dyatlov Pass Incident. If you've ever had a friend suggest camping in negative 30-degree weather for fun, this right here is all the justification you'll ever need to say absolutely not.
Okay, let's just set the scene. Picture it. The Soviet Union, 1959. The Ural Mountains. It's a place that sounds less like a vacation spot and more like a level in a video game you just can't beat. And this is the setting for a mystery that has kept Reddit awake for decades.
So let's talk about the team at the heart of this thing. Who were these people, and what were they even doing out there? It's really crucial to understand who they were before we get to what happened to them. Now, you gotta understand, these weren't amateurs. They weren't people who bought their gear at a discount outlet the day before. The group, led by 23-year-old Igor Dyatlov, was made up of 8 men and 2 women, most of them students or grads of the Ural Polytechnic Institute. They were skilled, certified, grade 8 tough guys and gals setting out on a seriously difficult journey to reach the peak of Orton Mountain. And yet, the mountain ate them. Because of bad weather and just terrible visibility, they got thrown off course. So they ended up making camp on the slope of a totally different mountain, Kolotsiak. And here's where it gets, well, ominous. The local Mansi people call that dead mountain. I mean, come on. That is not subtle foreshadowing. That is the universe literally screaming at you to go home. But they stay. So, when the group failed to send their expected telegram, a search party was sent out. On February 26th, weeks after they were supposed to be back, the searchers finally find their campsite. And what they discovered was less like an accident scene and more like the opening scene of a horror movie. They found the tent, totally abandoned and slashed open from the inside. Okay, let's pause on that. The tent is your only barrier against the freezing void. It is the life bubble. You do not pop the life bubble. But these 9 skilled, experienced hikers slashed their way out. The cuts were definitive. They were made from within. So the key point here is they ran and they left everything behind. Their gear, their supplies, and maybe most important, their shoes. Investigators found 8 or 9 sets of footprints just leading away from the camp. Some people were barefoot, others were just in socks, somewhere in their underwear. Barefoot. In the snow. In Russia. In February. And the tracks led down the slope for almost a mile, toward a nearby forest. And this is the question that just haunts this entire story. What could possibly be so terrifying that a panicked, shoeless flight into negative 22-degree darkness seems like the better option? Following that trail of footprints, investigators started to uncover the horrifying fate of the Dyatlov team. And the discoveries came in stages, with each one just becoming more and more baffling. So the first bodies were found the same day as the tent. Then, a few more were found in the following days as the search widened out. But it would take another 2 months after the snow finally started to melt for the final and most gruesomely injured hikers to be discovered. Right at the edge of the forest, under this massive cedar tree, they found the first 2 victims, Yuri Krivonichenko and Yuri Doroshenko. They were lying next to the remains of a small fire, dressed only in their underwear. The branches on the tree way above them were broken, which suggests they had desperately tried to climb it, maybe to escape something, or to get a better view. The first 5 bodies they found, including Igor Dyatlov himself, all had the same official cause of death, hypothermia. Which, fair, it was cold. But the final 4, the ones found 2 months later in a ravine, they told a completely different story. They didn't just freeze to death. Something crushed them. And here is what makes it so impossible. For all that massive internal trauma, we're talking broken ribs, fractured skulls. Investigators found no significant external wounds. No major cuts, no bruises that would be consistent with a fight or even a bad fall. Just internal devastation. And this just perfectly illustrates the sheer impossibility of it all. The medical examiner concluded that the force required to cause those kinds of injuries was equivalent to a car crash. A car crash on a mountain where there are no cars.
And the autopsy results? Oh, they're just pure nightmare fuel. Yudmila Dubinina was found missing her tongue, her eyes, and parts of her lips. Nikolai Thibault-Brinuels had a shattered skull. And just to make it even weirder, some of their clothing tested positive for low levels of radiation. Okay, that's a lot. I need to stop thinking about crushed chests for 30 seconds or I am going to hyperventilate. So let's talk about something less mysterious but equally important, the algorithm. If you enjoy hearing me spiral into madness over historical cold cases, please hit that subscribe button. It costs you nothing, unlike the hiking trip to the Urals, which cost, well, everything. Leave a review. Tell your friends. Tell your enemies. Tell the NSA agent listening through your phone. Help us grow. If we get enough listeners, maybe I can afford a heater that actually works. All right, back to the horror. With a crime scene this bizarre, the theories are all over the map. So let's look at the case file and break down the usual suspects. Was it an avalanche? Aliens? A Yeti with a bad attitude? Secret Soviet weapon testing? Let's see what holds up.
So the official theory, or at least the one they push now, is an avalanche, a rare slab avalanche specifically. It could explain the crushing injuries and the panicked exit, but the original investigators found no physical signs of one. Okay, how about a secret military weapon test? This one has some legs, especially with the traces of radiation and people reporting strange lights. Other theories get way more speculative. Infrasound, a rare weather event where low-frequency sound can cause intense panic. But that doesn't explain the injuries. And of course, a Yeti. I mean, it would certainly explain the force, but there is zero physical evidence.
That secret weapon theory gets a pretty big boost from two strange pieces of evidence. First, there's this photo. It's the last one on one of the hikers' cameras. And second, there's testimony from another hiking group about 30 miles away who said they saw strange orange orbs floating in the sky in the direction of Kholat Salkyl on the night the hikers died. So with all this conflicting evidence, what did the original Soviet investigation even conclude? Well, their answer was somehow more chilling than any of the theories. Decades later, in 1990, the lead investigator, a guy named Lev Ivanov, he admitted that he was ordered by high-level officials to just close the case and drop any questions about those bright flying spheres. He believed to his dying day that a secret military test was responsible. But that's not what the official file says. In 1959, the cause of death was attributed to a compelling natural force. I mean, that sounds like bureaucratic code for, we have no idea and we are terrified. Gravity is a compelling natural force. A tornado is a compelling natural force. A Yeti holding a sledgehammer is a very compelling natural force. Of course, the case has been revisited. In 2019, Russia reopened the investigation, but they limited it to only natural cause theories. Then in 2021, some Swiss scientists proposed a really complex slab avalanche model that could maybe explain the timing and injuries. But for a lot of people, these explanations just don't cover all the bizarre facts, and the mystery is still very much alive. So, Dyatlov Pass. Ultimately, it's a story about how fragile we are. We build our little nylon tents, we put on our wool socks, and we think we've conquered nature. And nature looks at us and says, "That's cute. Watch this." It's the ultimate locked room mystery, except the room is a mountain range, and the killer is possibly the wind, or radiation, or just bad luck. I don't have the answers. I just have a renewed appreciation for my duvet and the safety of the indoors. This explainer was produced by the legendary FireflyHaku. If the Dyatlov Pass incident was caused by a compelling natural force, then FireflyHaku is the benevolent natural force that keeps this show running. They are the sturdy tent that does not get slashed from the inside. They are the warm socks of this production. Thank you, FireflyHaku, for not fleeing into the night, and thank you for listening. Stay warm, stay inside, and if you hear the wind howling, maybe just turn up the volume on the TV.